Hello everyone, it's Noel, and today we are going to paint some more flowers. This is from last week, and it just doesn't look very good, okay? So, if you followed along with me last week, we did try to paint some really quick flowers with tissue paper, but I didn't really like how this turned out, so on my own time, I kind of repainted it, and I will show you. I did record it, so if you want to see how this process turned out, you can watch that on Friday. So this is going to be Friday's speed paint. I really like how this turned out because it definitely looks more like flowers. It's definitely a lot, not as abstract as this one looking. So yes, it is a process that you can do. You can actually make stuff with it. It looks really cool. It looks kind of collagey, and it turned out really well, so that's what we're going to do on Friday. But today we are still going with this flowery kick that I have going on, and I decided that I was going to do some more flowers today. I just dropped one of my brushes. Hold on just a second. Okay. But today, let me just show you the image that I found on Google. So, are you guys angry about the whole Google image change that they made? And now they make it harder for you to actually pick off images from Google. But we still manage. So anyway, this will be in the description box below. This is what we're going to try to paint today. These look like carnations, and we're going to try to do our best. So that's going to sit there for me to look at. I was thinking of going horizontal today because it's hard to do vertical images. I only have so much room on my desk. Here, I'll show you. Here, look in the white camera. I only have so much room on my desk. I actually did clean my desk yesterday. It was a miracle. Yesterday was President's Day. Of course, today is Tuesday and not Wednesday when this video will be up. Oh yes, horizontal. There we go. So I decided to take the time to completely clean my desk area, and it was wonderful. Alright, just getting all my waters and stuff ready. Okay. So, first things first, how do I want to do this? The way these look, you know what, we're just going to jump into it because that's how I work best, just jumping into things without thinking. I do have a palette here. I don't know if I'm going to use it. I might use it. I don't know. Because these paints are a lot thicker, so maybe I will. Maybe I'll use this palette. Here, I'll show you what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to take some paint out of the palette. I had already pre-moistened it with some water. I like to do that every now and then, because sometimes I like to use a lighter wash to begin with. There we go. Something just fell, and I don't know what it was. Maybe it was a ghost. So we have some kind of peachy tones in here. We have yellow tones in here. Some pink. Not a whole lot of red. Carnations come in all sorts of colors, but I do want to stay pretty true to this color palette. So here I'm taking a crimson color. This crimson is the closest I have to the pink, the shade of pink that I want. And this has to be really diluted or else I'm going to get that bright crimson color, and I don't want that. I might end up mixing it with something. Just have to see where we go with it. Need some yellow. I don't know why I didn't just take yellow. Taking a more kind of a dirty yellow. They call this Indian yellow in the palette that I'm using. What else could we use? Oh yes, we need my greens for the stems because I do want to incorporate the stems. So I'm taking yellow green. I'm also going to be taking blue-green. Now, I won't just solely use these colors in this palette. I'm also going to just, if I need a really concentrated hue of the color I'm using, then I will take from the palette or the paint. I should try to specify, this is my palette, this is my paints. If I need to take a more concentrated hue, I will take it directly from the paints. How's that? Hope that's not too confusing for you. Look at the water already. Isn't that pretty? Sometimes the water turns out prettier than what you're actually painting. It's not fair. And I think I'm going to use some purple and some gray today for the shadows. I'm running out of these longer slots. Oh, now my paint's not pretty anymore. That's because we mixed green into the red, or pink. It was pink, I guess. And that's what happens when you mix complementary colors. Taking some of this purple here. I will put the purple in here. It can have its own little rectangle. And then I'll put gray in one of these circles. Are you getting your paints ready too? You should be. That's what this is all about. We're painting together just like Bob Ross did all those years ago. I mean, of course you can just watch or have me on in the background. I don't care what you do. I would be honored to be your background noise for today. Okay. Now my water is all dirty, so we're gonna just swap that out. Okay. I remembered this time, guys. Tried to be all, what's the word, prepared. There we go. Okay. So my paint, my diluted versions of my paints are all ready. They look pretty in the palette. Look how cute they are. I like that. It's cute. Alright, just making sure my brush is clean. And my reference image shut off because it's on my phone. Okay. So, oh boy, how do we want to do this? Alright, well let's just look at the reference image and I'll talk about it here. Okay, I don't know if you can really see that. So what I'm noticing here, at least with this specific flower, is that it's in two parts. The top part he did, and it kind of fades in. I don't know if you can tell what I'm talking about. But there's like that white space in between. And the top space is supposed to represent the back. The furthest part of the flower that's away from you. At least this is my assumption. And then the front part are all the petals that are facing or closer to you. So I'm going to try to replicate that on my paper. Oh, this is always the worst part, is starting. I can prepare and get ready all I want, but that first part is always so scary for me. Okay, so how I want to do this. I think I want to put down the peach first. So I'm using the diluted peach. And I'm just gonna, I guess, make some petals. Yeah, I'm gonna make bigger flowers today. And carnations have pretty abstract petals. So there's no need to get all fussy with how they look. And it's watercolor. Watercolor is already a pretty abstract medium. I'm going to take right from the paint, apply it right to the tops here in some spots because I do want a little bit more. Okay. Get some of this diluted crimson and start dotting that in. And we're just going to let that play. I'm going to water it down a little bit though, because it is still quite bright. Very bright crimson. It's unfortunate that I don't have a like a pink in the palette or the paint. I like pre-mixed colors. It just makes it so much easier. I know some artists like to mix their own, but I'm an easy breezy. Do it for me, please. Alright, I'm just going to add a little bit of that diluted crimson from the palette. If you are doing like a palette, anytime that you take paint from its original container and try to dilute it in a palette, you're going to have like little itty bits at the bottom. Oh, hold on, I gotta clean underneath my fingernail. I got paint stuck under it. You're always gonna have like oh goodness, like a sediment type of thing happening, so you kind of need to mix it every now and then to get that sediment mixed back in. I notice it a lot with watercolor pencils whenever I do that technique. Ooh, there we go. I do want this to be darker at the bottom, only because in my head I'm doing it slightly different from the original artist, because in my head the closer you get to the middle of the flower, the darker it should be, because you know it's like a little bowl. Like it's dark inside because the light is usually bouncing off the tops of the flower. Alright, so I'm just using my wet brush to kind of push around this color. Try to get it to mix with the peach a little bit. I think I'm going to add a little touch of that yellow that we picked out. But only a little. I'm going to add it in some spots. I don't want it to be everywhere. Alright, 3 is always a good option. That's always a good number. But we don't want it to make yellow. Or not yellow. We don't want it to make orange too much. Okay. There. That looks pretty cool. I'm going to move on to the next part of the flower. Maybe I can try to push some of this around at the bottom. To try and help create the next row of petals. Looking at my reference image again. Here we go. Alright. Again, pretty much the same effect. Ooh, water. Let's wet the paper first. That's always a good rule of thumb, if you're going for that sort of technique. Okay. Ooh. My desk is really bright, so if you see me like lean back, it's because, whoa, I cannot see. That ring light that I use is so bright. But I do like it because originally I was using just this Ott light that my Nana bought me so many years ago for my desk. Originally this desk came with like a flex arm lamp, and quite honestly I don't know where I put it. I don't remember if I even have it, or if I threw it out, or what I did with it. But I think at one point I was using both lamps, and I don't remember if perhaps maybe it was thrown out. I don't know. Ooh, look at that. We have a little bit of blending in. That looks pretty neat. Let's try and get a little bit more of that. I mean, if it doesn't turn out exactly, that's fine. I like being surprised. Sometimes you have to go in with low expectations. There we go. Get some of that crimson in. Look at that. It's already like starting to do its own thing. That looks pretty cool. I like that. There we go. Oh my goodness. So next month is going to be crazy because my plan is to have a new video out every single day. And now I've had 2 months to prep for this. And I'm not quite done. Hopefully I won't have to do too many videos during next month for that series that I'm doing. But we'll see. Big whoop if I have to. But I did it mainly to have content every day and to also take a little bit of pressure off of myself so that I can actually take the time to like focus on studying, because these real-time paints that I do with you guys each week are quite time consuming, and I have to, there's a little bit of planning as far as making sure that nobody's home when I do them. So with President's Day being yesterday, my family was home because they weren't working, because they had off from their jobs. So it was a little bit difficult, but I figure, you know, that's why I make these videos for Wednesday. That way I at least have Tuesday to try and do them. Okay, we need to add a little bit of that yellow. And then we'll do our little rule of 3. You don't have to do the rule of 3. I just think it's nice. Just because then you don't have to think too hard. You can learn all about that on your own time, because I'm not going to talk about it here. Now, what I'm going to try to do here, I kind of want to bring these together just a little bit. So I'm taking a wet brush with no paint on it. Okay, maybe a semi-wet brush. And I'm just going to try and bring these two worlds together down here. And we'll just see if that works. If not, oh well. Okay. Now that's going to dry. And then we'll move on to all the other stuff. Try and move this paint around. It really wants to sit down there. Alright. Moving on to another flower. Maybe we'll do 3 flowers. I don't know. Have to see how I feel. I do kind of like how this artist put some flowers overlapping right here in the middle. I think that's really nice. That looks pretty. Maybe we could try to do something like that. How about we do that? We'll put a flower down here, and then we'll put one up here, and then we'll have a rule of 3. See? We're going to learn. I'm going to teach you something, sort of. Okay, so we did wet on wet. Why don't we do wet on dry? We'll see how different that looks. Sometimes it's fun to go in and try something different. Okay, so, but we're still going to do the same color combinations. Alright. We're just going to doodle in our carnation petals. Put them in kind of low. Oh well. Oh my goodness. Speaking of low, alright. Rob Lowe. I don't know why. I just thought of him. I was watching Netflix last night. So since there was nothing to do yesterday except to clean, watch Netflix, and organize my art supplies, one of the movies I watched yesterday on Netflix was Moon, The Guardian of the Moon. And that was so cool. That movie was so cool. I loved it. I loved how vibrant. I'm like blushing now. Like all of the, I'm all exacerbated. It was such a gorgeous movie. And the voice acting was pretty good. I feel like there could have been more. It was only like an hour and 40 minutes or something. So it wasn't a very long movie, but it was such a cute movie. And there was like 2 different art styles present. And the first art style reminded me a lot of like anime, or at least very stylized anime. You have to watch it. I loved it so much. It kind of reminded me of Teen Titans, sort of. Like old school Teen Titans, not Teen Titans Go. At least whenever they were being playful with their art style in that show. It reminded me a lot of that, but it had a lot of that kind of character added to it. Okay, so I'm adding the crimson. Now, of course, the crimson goes on wet because I'm not going to sit here and wait for it to dry. But if you want to sit there and wait for it to dry, by all means, and then add your crimson or whatever color you choose today. I'm doing these colors. Carnations come in many colors, so you can pick and choose what you want to add in your picture. I love that that's kind of like the beauty of art, is that you can use whatever color palette, however otherworldly it is, and it will still look awesome. It looks awesome. I just love art so much. So much you can do with it. And I'm finding that doing these real-time paints with you guys, I am starting to really like doing nature and landscapes, which was in the back of my head was one of the things that I wanted to practice this year, was doing more like real life type of things, right? Taking that yellow. We're gonna do 4 this time. Woo! So this one's already drying. Don't worry if your picture doesn't look anything like the reference image. That's not why we do these. We do these to practice and have fun. Let's see. Let's do the next one. We'll take that peach color. And I'm going to put down the shape that I want. But as soon as I get that in, I'm going to kind of push into that petal from the bottom and get some of that color in there. I just want to see how that works. Just want to see how that reacts. Look at that. That looks pretty. Looks really cool. Alright, taking crimson again. Ooh, a lot of crimson. I love watching the color bloom when you put watercolor down. There's something very satisfying about it. Why don't we play with the crimson a little bit? Why don't we take it out a little? Whoop. Interesting. Mine are starting to look more like crabs than flowers. I'm just looking at the artist's image, my reference image. See, some of theirs really look more like flowers. They drag some of the... Gotta make some petals come out here. But like I said, you don't worry too much about how yours looks compared to the artist that you are copying, studying from. Just do your best. Alright, for this last one, we're going to work from the bottom up. So we've been doing these top halves. Let's do the bottom half, and then we'll shoot it out. We'll shoot it out. Oh, you know what? Okay, I know what I'm doing. I say that, but I don't. I need to leave a little gap here because I don't want this flower that I'm doing now to get mixed up with the flower that was on the bottom. I'm going to try and make this one actually look like a flower. And I'll fill that gap in later with the shadow colors. And my shadow colors are the purple and the gray today. This artist used a very heavy, it seems like gray concentration, which is fine. You can do that too if you'd rather omit the purple. But I wanted to try purple because in my markers, gray lavender is my favorite color to use for shading skin and stuff. I think it's such a versatile color combination and it works really well. Alright, I really like that shape. Okay, we're gonna go with that shape. We're gonna take our crimson, go pop it in. Pop, 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 pop. That looks pretty. And then we're just gonna let it mingle. I don't think I'm gonna overwork this one though. I kinda wanna let it do its thing. But I am going to put in the yellow at the top. Boop. And actually, I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to let that just do its own little thing. I'm not going to play with it anymore. I'm going to work on the top half now. And we're going to work a little bit asymmetrically. The other two, they're pretty like in line with each other. This one I'm not going to do as much. It'll look probably better that way, honestly. Okay. I don't even know if these are going to look like flowers. They look like Venus flytraps. Oh man, I had the opportunity to buy a Venus flytrap once. It was a while back at Aldi, my favorite grocery chain ever. They have like the most random stuff sometimes, and one time they were selling Venus flytraps, and I tell you what, it wasn't even that expensive. I think it was only $4.99 or something for a little pot of Venus flytraps, and I wanted to buy them really bad, but I was afraid I was going to kill them. But I should have, because I think it would have been fun. Now I regret it. If I see them out this year, I'm totally buying one. I will totally buy a Venus flytrap. I think that would be awesome. And I think it would have enough food here too, because I tell you what, sometimes we get so many flies, we get stink bugs. Stink bugs are awful. I don't think they would eat stink bugs though. Stink bugs tend to not want to die. At least over here in good old PA. Stink bugs are an invasive species to the United States. Did you know that? They actually don't belong here. From what I've read, they hitched a ride on a freight ship, a cargo ship from China. Because I think that's originally where they are from. They are originally from Asia. Just kind of manipulating this a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more crimson to this one. Why don't we play around? I have to sneeze. Hold on. Excuse me. Let's see what the crimson does to this flower. Doesn't look like a flower. I think I'm going to bring this petal up a little bit. Okay, I like that shape a little bit better. Okay, looks good. Now we could add more flowers, but I don't think I will. We've already been recording for half an hour. And we need to add our shading. So this flower over here is pretty dry for the most part. It's a little damp and that's okay because I want to add my shadows. So I am moistening it a little bit more. And I'm going to take a little bit of purple, put it in its own little container, as well as some gray. And I'm going to see how that mixes. And I'm going to put it on the paper. Boop. There. Here we go. And there's our shadow. And, you know, just play around with it a little bit. I'm gonna add some crimson to that just to see what happens. Oh, no, a little bit more. There we go. See how they play together. There. Okay. I'm going to give the same treatment to this flower down here. So I'm going to wet it. After this flower, I am going to pause the video because I need to blow my nose. This one lost like all of its red. Or yellow. I'm sorry, I can't think today. So here goes in the shadow. We're going to let this one play with peach though. So plopping some peach in. Alright, I'm going to pause the video. I desperately have to wipe my nose. I will see you in a second. Okay. Crisis averted. Alright, so I'm getting some areas here that want to just be dark for some reason. And you know what? I'm going to let them. I don't care. So we need to work on this shadow. I really like how this kind of has a band now. It has like a band of yellow there. That's pretty cool. I like that. That looks neat. Just gotta re-wet this paper here. Put in that shadow color. I literally mixed just enough. But that one needs to play too. And you know what? It's gonna play with yellow. Why don't we just let that... Each flower has played with a different color. That's interesting. Okay. And now, actually, I kind of want to drag this down a little bit more. Looks like my paint set a little too much. That's okay. You know what? We're just gonna let that go. Okay, so now I actually do have to pause the video because I need these to dry so that I can work on adding the stems. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm probably gonna have a snack. So I'll see you soon. Okay, so these are dry. I have some hard edges here, but you know, for the sake of time, just gonna leave them. If you want to add another layer to help build a little bit more dimension, by all means, go right ahead. It is your painting. You do what you want with it. But I'm a little bit on a time constraint as it is. During this drawing process, I was trying to look for some pictures for a like kind of a sketchbook tour. Like last year, I put out an embarrassingly old drawings video, and yeah, they're pretty old. So I was trying to find some more drawings to do, but I couldn't find some of these drawings that I know I have, but I can't quite remember where I put them. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. So I'm going to take some of this yellow green, and I'm going to start making the stems and whatever this is called. What is this part called? I'm going to have to look it up. The part of the stem that goes on the flower, that little like cup looking thing. I want to know what that is. What is that even called? I don't know. But I'm just going to apply from the palette here. I'm just going to apply it directly from our palette onto a dry surface. And I'm just going to I'm just gonna let it go down, and there we go. Gonna add a little bit more of that lemon, not lemon. I was thinking lemon yellow. Yellow green, that's what it is. And I'm gonna do the other two stems as well. And then I'll apply blue green. Now this one is gonna be difficult because we can't see the whole stem part, that connecty bit. So I'm just going to paint around. And then I'm going to drag it down here. Maybe we'll say that it comes down this way. How's that? Alright. So now, this artist didn't put any kind of shading on that stem part that I can see. Maybe there's a little bit. Maybe we can do something similar. Alright, so I'm gonna just top off the rest of my yellow-green here where I need it. And we're gonna move on to the blue-green. And we're just gonna apply it a little bit. Maybe this will act as our shade color. But I'm not going to mess with it a whole lot. I kind of like when it's a little splotchy. Looks neat. Okay. Next flower. And the next one. That one's going to be a little bit more difficult to do. Okay. Now, just for kicks, why don't we put a little bit of a sky in? Or at least what looks like some sort of a background. I'm going to switch out my water here really quick. I just want to put a little bit of something in the background, maybe a little bit of blue. Just doing it on the fly here. It's not going to be amazing or anything. I just want to put something in really quick. Because sometimes I don't like to have a completely white space. Uh-oh. A little bit of the red from the other picture kind of reactivated. Alright, so you can use whatever blue. I usually like to use cobalt. I think this is my cobalt right here. Or is that ultramarine? No, ultramarine's up there. This is cobalt. That's Prussian. I like cobalt blue for skies because it's the most natural looking blue, in my opinion. And you don't have to share my opinion. If you want to use ultramarine, you want to use something different, you don't want to use blue sky, you don't want to put a sky in, then don't. I just want the, as Mark Crilly would say, the indication of a sky. There we go. Nice. That way it's not too plain. And then you could go in and try and get in between the nooks and crannies, but I don't mind too much that it's not touching. Kind of drag it down a little till it fades. Yeah. There we go. Now it doesn't look so plain Jane. Alright, what else do we need? I do kind of want to put in, just because that purple-gray combination did add a bit of a darker value. What is, my battery's running low. Oh no, hold on. Hold on. I'll plug you in. There. There we go. Sorry about that. I forgot that my laptop wasn't plugged in today. Don't know why I did that. Alright, so we need to mix up some purple and gray. Let's do that. This is more purple. Let's see how it looks being more purple. Now I'm just going to put it right under the flower. If it spreads to the stem, then it spreads to the stem. But I don't want too much of this color. Alrighty. Okay. That looks nifty. Alright. That's about all I want to do for this picture. I think. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. I'm not even going to let it dry. I'm just going to go ahead and, oh, I thought I wasn't recording for a second and I was scared myself. That would have been awful. I did all this and I wasn't recording. But anyway, all right. I think I'm done. I think we're going to say goodbye. So, I do want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoy these paint with me's because I love doing them for you. And if you want to see more videos like this, as well as other art-related videos, I would totally appreciate if you would subscribe. And remember to draw what you love and love what you draw.